How accents evolve throughout time. Have you ever wondered how accents came to be? You're driving through the country and the difference of 2 hours in the car makes R's and M's sound entirely foreign. Sometimes these tones and inflections change over a large distance. Other times, it can be as small of a trek as between New York and Boston. So how does this happen? Surely, over time, these tiny fluctuations should have smoothed out. Well, to understand this better, we need to take a look at what accents actually are. These speech quirks are just a variety of language, from patterns to inflection to tone. Unlike dialects that impact the structure and syntax of speech, accents only influence how you sound when you talk. Let's take English, for instance. Even though it's spoken in dozens of countries throughout the world, British English sounds very different than American English. And within these sets, there are different accents too. A person from Sussex sounds nothing like someone from London, and a person from Georgia sounds very different than someone from California. So where does this divergence start? Well, even just a few hundred years ago, the world was a lot more isolated. That means that people typically stuck to their regions and didn't venture too far. This left different areas to develop their own tones and sounds, and since we tend to mirror those around us, those from a certain region tend to speak the same. This explains why certain areas, even now, have unique accents from those just a few hundred miles away. This is also why accents change over time. Let's say a group of people from London moved across the pond to the USA. Those people, at first, would keep to their accents, but as they mingle with more people from their new home, the sounds eventually morph and fade into something entirely new. The British accent won't get lost entirely, but it adapts into a new sound, specific to their new home. Accents change based on time, location, and population. Time speaks to how language itself evolves. Words change, as do expressions. Modern English is nothing like Middle English, and even further from Old English. These changes impact the words we say, and thus the accents we employ. Location is about where you are from, the accent of the area which develops over time. It is precisely why you can identify a Scottish accent from an Irish tone and a Southern USA tone from a West Coast voice. These locations have a unique accent that becomes iconic with the land itself. The final step in evolution is population. As people migrate through the world, accents intermingle and influence one another. This shifts accents, sometimes drastically, other times imperceptibly. Over time, with enough population movement, the accent of an area will come to be entirely different. In truth, most of us don't consider ourselves as having accents, but it doesn't mean you haven't got one. We all have an accent when someone from a different place hears us speak. So what does your accent say about you and your history?